Good afternoon. Welcome to Songbird Homestead. I am Kimberly. I'm happy to have you here. I am a backyard homesteader on about 3/4 of an acre up in the town of Northeast Maryland. That's Zone 7B, and that's the coordinates and the town's name. So I'm almost up to, the Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware junction. So that's where I'm at, Zone 7B. It is the end of August. Tomorrow, September 1st. So what can I say? The garden has been pretty successful this year. We've gotten a lot of stuff done. Maybe not everything that I wanted to do, but that seems to be, I think that's always going to be the case. Like, we're never going to, I don't know, I feel like I always set such high aspirations for myself. But some stuff falls through the crack, but that's okay, because I think that means that I'm maximizing all of the everything, my resources. Sometimes there's just not enough time or energy or effort or whatever. I mean, sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything. So, but I think we've been pretty successful this year. So I haven't had a lot of stuff to put away. The tomatoes specifically did not do very well this year. I've been harvesting enough for us to eat, but it doesn't seem like we've gotten that many. Like, they're on the plant, but they're not ripening, which is really, it's disappointing, because I really wanted to have some fresh salsa and, make some sauce. Last year I was able to do that, but I did have to buy some tomatoes last year from a local farmer, but that's okay. So what's happening in the world of Songbird Homestead? Some really, really exciting news. We got our first, you can see and hear our girls and our one lone rooster who we're not supposed to have him. Let me back up. So we had a bunch of, of our flock that we had gotten from a couple places, the McMurray Hatchery, and then also from the local store, The Mill. I picked a bunch of them up. And I thought I was getting all hens, but one of them, the bonus one from McMurray Hatchery, ended up being a rooster. So we rehomed him. One of a co-worker of mine was able to take him and add him to his flock. And then, surprise, we found out very recently, you can see, yep, right over here, this guy, yep. It was Fancy, who was one of my favorites. Fancy she's extra fancy, you can see, and she's beautiful, or he is beautiful, but didn't turn out the way I wanted. Here, let me show you. Say hello. You can see she is definitely a he. Beautiful, gorgeous, very pretty coloring. So we're probably going to have to rehome him. I'm trying to rehome him, so but it's tough to rehome roosters because, they have a bad reputation, and they can, not everyone wants roosters, so anyway, the girls are free ranging today. My lovely coop that my husband built. Like I said, they did just start laying. I found 3 eggs yesterday. Let me turn this around. So yeah, I found 3 eggs yesterday in a corner of the coop, and then we have this guy that my husband made. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have another one? No, I'm sorry. I think I interrupted something. Anyway, today when I found the egg that I found today, I actually found, let me close this up, give them some privacy. When I found my egg today, it was actually in the nesting box, which, sorry girls, I'm going to open this up one more time. We read that if you put golf balls into the nesting box, it'll kind of trigger that, hey, this is where they go feeling. But like I said, the first couple ones were not there. They were just in the coop itself. And then let's see if we have any. I keep checking. It's crazy. I keep checking because I'm so excited. No. No more, but they're very curious. I can tell that they're all, sorry, I'm really bad with this camera today. I apologize. I wasn't planning on doing a video, but I'm out here and I'm harvesting and there's a bunch of things going on. So I figured I would just pick up the camera, start shooting, and it is what it is. But anyway, the first 3 eggs were over in the corner, but the one I found today was in the nesting box, which is good because I want to be able to just open the box, grab the eggs out. I don't want to have to go digging for them in the coop. Personally, I don't care where they lay the eggs, but for the sake of getting them out of here and having them not become broody, I do want to get them out, pretty quick. So say hi, girls. Yes, hello, you're on camera. Hello, Sassy. You're such a sweet girl, but I know. Yeah. Oh, you're so nice. You're so nice. They're so fun. Like, I had no idea the chickens would be this fun. Let's just sit and talk, ladies, right? So, this is the coop that my husband built. He is not a builder. He designed and he became YouTube certified and watched a ton of videos and really did an amazing job. Like, the detail and the things that he thought about, I was very impressed, considering he's never really built anything. Maybe he built there's a smaller coop that we had in the garage when they were babies. Come on up, come on, Coverdale. That's our rooster's name, Coverdale, as in David Coverdale. If you know, you know. Anyway, so he did a big, we want to do a coop video. We just haven't done that yet, but really nice because when I let them free range, I open up, of course, the main door. I open up this door. They can come in and out. It's just really he did an amazing job. So kudos to him. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening now. We are starting to get eggs, which is really exciting. We haven't eaten those eggs yet. I think tomorrow morning that's going to be our breakfast. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't speak. A coworker of mine, my friend Beth, gave me this hat, Chicken Mama. So I am wearing it today in honor of our first set of eggs that we got. So thank you, Beth. But yeah, anyway, so a little bit of that's the good news. The good news is we have eggs. The bad news is today, the 4th egg that I found today, the one that I found today, the single, I actually dropped it. So and I've seen people post on like Facebook and stuff, oh, I got an egg, my first egg, and I dropped it. And I'm like, well, how would you do that? Why would you not be more careful? Well, I don't know, because, I'm going to have to ask myself the same question, because I fumbled in honor of football season coming up in a couple days. Go Ravens. I fumbled, so I hope that's not an indicator of things to come for my team this year. But anyway, let me show you some other things that are happening. This is my clothesline, as you can see. I've wanted a clothesline for quite some time, and my ever so brilliant husband, again, I don't know who's smarter, him for the things he thinks of or me for marrying him. But what we did was, this used to be a fence. There was a fence along this whole back area. And if you've seen my previous videos, there was nothing on the other side of the fence. We moved here, last June, so a little over a year. And this whole area was just a blank slate of a yard. So this year we've slowly taken down the fence. And what we did was we turned that fence. Come on, Stevie Chicks, you don't belong back here. You know that. Go on. Go on. We turned, and again, sorry for the camera work, but this was another post, maybe, I think, that he cut down from the other thing that he did. Anyway, and he turned it into a T-post. We got a bunch of hooks. These guys, we got these from TSC. And he strung 3 lines, and now we have a clothesline. It's amazing. So I was so excited. For like $30, I made a clothesline. Okay, so yeah, that's a couple of things that's happening. We have the hens are laying eggs. They've just started. We have our clothesline up, which I'm so excited about. Some of the goal, let's see if the best way I can put this in my own words. Things that are important to us are reducing our consumerism. So not really, instead of being a consumer, we want to be a creator. That's something I've been saying a lot lately. Let's create instead of consume. So instead of consuming electric and, spending money for that and giving it to a big, corporation for electric or whatever. We're trying to do this, which A, reduces all of that. B, it's exercise for me, the bending, the lifting, the carrying, the putting laundry up, folding it, bringing it back in. So it really has a multitude of benefits, and just trying to reduce our dependency on electric and just trying to, better for the environment, things like that. That's something that's important to us. So that is something that was really important to me. When we were at our old house, I really wanted a clothesline, but we just didn't have the space for it. I mean, we could have, but we knew we were probably going to be moving, so we just held off on doing that. The other thing that's important to us is growing our own foods. I've probably mentioned this before about how, and I hate to sound cliche, how broken our food system is, how you have, all these companies that are really owned by, and I'm going to sit down because I might get wordy here, how they're owned by like 10 or so different mega bazillion corporations are really in charge of our food system. They own all these little tiny companies that you think are healthy, and the packaging, it can be very confusing. And my husband and I feel like we are educated a bit about the food system and how, what's going on with these companies and the whitewashing or whatever it is of the labels, how sometimes it gets things get packaged in a package that look healthy, or it might be called, Nature Smart, or, Simply Made. I don't know, like figure it out, like whatever, kind of make up some kind of name that and it's packaged in a way with those labels in conjunction with those labels, it makes us feel like we're getting something or we're eating something that's healthy, and really we're not. I forget what I was looking at recently. I wanted something, I don't remember what it was, and I was reading the label, and even the ones that were healthy, I think it was candy, which okay, full disclaimer, like I'm a sugar, I've always been a sugar addict, so I'm always trying to find healthy sweet things, or sweet things that are not as bad. So when I was looking at candy, and I was like, okay, well, let me try to find like a lesser of the, and I know candy's not healthy, and I don't in any way, shape, or form think that candy is going to be a health food. But I was trying to find some that had some simpler ingredients, some we just wanted, like, I wanted us to have like a treat, whatever. So every single one of them, and there were some, so there was a generic store brand, I won't say the store name, but it was, well, I'll say it, it was Lidl, Lidl. I don't know if you guys have that there, but they had a generic store one, and it had like 5 or 6 ingredients, whatever, sugar or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can find one that's a little bit better. Well, all of the more expensive ones, they had high fructose corn syrup and regular corn syrup, and then like pulverized corn syrup. So all of these expensive, Ferrero Rocher, and there's another one starts with an L, Lidt or something like that. I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I forget how to spell it. But all of the pricier ones that look to me, I thought they'd be made from better ingredients. No, they were actually worse than the generic Lidl. Maybe somebody laid an egg. Let's go see. Then the generic ones. Oh boy. Did someone lay an egg? Sorry, we may have. No? That was a lot of noise. That was sorry, I interrupted my whole. That was a lot of noise for nothing. What's going on in here? Stevie Chicks. It's Stevie Chicks and Sassy. There you go. All right. Anyway, I was getting long-winded, so that was a good distraction. But a lot of times, like I said, just the packaging, like there's really it's hard to find any kind of packaged food. So what we've tried to do is really make our own. I'm checking. Oh, yes, I'm a hot mess. Dang it. We try to just make as much of our own food as we can. My one of our boys, his partner, she was saying, she said something to us a couple years ago. She said, we were talking about like sweets and baked goods, and she said, I think something that they try to do, and I'm probably paraphrasing and I'm probably forgetting exactly what she said, but she was like, the basic gist was, if I want something sweet, I'm going to make it myself. So one, if you really want it, you'll make it yourself, which is great because A, it's going to be healthier. B, maybe you don't feel like making it, so then maybe you just don't get it, which is okay too, because then it will reduce the amount of times. It's much easier to go to the grocery store and pick up a thing of donuts or whatever. It's not really my thing, but like ice creams or cakes or whatever, a pie. If I want a lemon meringue pie, if my husband and I want a lemon meringue pie, which is, by the way, our favorite pie, I have to make it, right? I want to make it. Now, I did have a store-bought one for my birthday, which was last week or so. But it's a nice thing. It's just a healthier way to do it, and it actually deters you and makes you really think twice. Do I really want that? Whatever. Maybe not. I'm off on a tangent. I apologize. But so those things are important to us, reducing our consumption, reducing the air, footprint on the environment, reducing the cost, maybe in some fashion, I don't know. But I mean, although I did go to the grocery store this morning, we haven't been for like 2 weeks, and I spent $166 on, I think, 4 small bags, and then like toilet paper, and I did buy some vinegar. I needed some extra vinegar, some more. I'd like to re-up and supply myself with plenty of vinegar, but like $166. Now, I did get a couple of meats and some things, but that's just crazy to me. So we're really trying to, on a multitude of levels, become more producers of the things that we want. Again, because the cost, the environment, the health factor, not putting money in the pocket of big corporations, because they don't need my money. Plus I don't really want to encourage and endorse the things that they stand for, because they are not looking out for our health at all. You've probably heard it before. It's not health care, it's sick care. And the things that I've read and the things that my husband, he's much more well versed than I am on all of this sorts of things as far as that goes. But they don't want us to be healthy, I think. And I'm probably maybe some people aren't going to be in line with this, but I don't think they want us to be healthy. And I think the sicker we are, the more money these big farm conglomerations make. The money, the government, they're subsidizing. The government subsidizes unhealthy food and things that are unhealthy for us. Sorry, I just saw a shadow to make sure it wasn't like a big bird of prey or something. So I think the more that we can do to supply ourselves and the people around us, I just think the healthier, and plus it's just healthier. Something I've talked about, I've mentioned this book before, Animal Vegetable Miracle, and in that book she talks about, and this is the first time I had ever heard this mentioned. This is supposed to be a garden tour, but it turned into something else. But this is the first time I had ever, and I read this book, 15 years ago, I don't know. But it was the first time I had heard anyone talk about how if something is grown, if I want, let's say I want tomatoes. We'll use tomatoes for an example. They're pretty good. Let's say the tomatoes are grown in California. So they're grown in California. That's not local. There's no one local here that's, it's not feeding any local economy, so to speak. They're grown, they're picked unripe, they're put on a truck, and then by the time they get to me, they have to be driven all the way across the country from California, because I am in Maryland, and it's very feasible that I will buy California grown tomatoes or Florida grown tomatoes and that kind of thing. So then they're put in a truck, they're driven all the way across the country. They're not ripe, so they are not picked at the height of their full nutritional value. They're not, the way they're designed for our bodies to consume, that's not when they're picked. They're picked unripened, driven. So think about all the gas, think about all the fuel that has to be consumed by all these big tractor trailers, and you multiply that, over and over and over again by how much produce is shipped from one part of the country to the other. That's a lot. That has a high impact on the environment and the planet. Okay, so that gets driven here. It gets put in a warehouse. Another place, my local grocery store, goes to that place, that warehouse, and buys that. It's not ripe. A lot of times they gas these things into ripeness. They put them in a thing, they gas them, then they're, to encourage to ripen, taken to the grocery store. That's more fuel. At the grocery store, by the time they get out onto the shelf, they were picked probably 2 weeks before, unripe, driven across the country. I don't want that. I don't see, the nutritional value isn't quite the same as when I come out, and here we go. Let me walk over here. All right, what's that? 12 steps or so. Okay, here we go. Here's a couple of tomatoes. Yep. I got some peppers here. Where's my basket? I'm forever losing it. Here we go. Yeah. So I know that those tomatoes that I just picked, I know that they were picked at the height of their ripeness, or I mean at the height of the ripeness. They could have gone a little bit, but they're picked at the height of their nutritional value. Like they just have so much more nutritional benefits than something that's picked unripened. And just like I said, driven across the country, too. And then the other thing too is the amount of time that passes between something that gets picked across, in another state. I wouldn't even say California. Okay, maybe that's extreme. Maybe a lot of people think, well, that's far. You're being dramatic. Okay, I'm a Leo. I'm a redheaded Leo. Being dramatic comes with the territory. Dang it. Patience also maybe not my thing. I'm still looking for more eggs, but so let's just say it's 5 states away. So if you pick something and it takes 10 days to get to my kitchen till I make it for dinner, that's not fresh produce. These grocery stores pawn it off as fresh produce, and it's not really fresh produce. It's not fresh produce at all. There's nothing fresh about something that's picked in another state, put in a car or in a tractor trailer, crated up, driven, gone to the wholesale market, gone to the grocery store. You pick it and you think it's fresh. Well, no, by the time it sees you, it's probably 2 weeks old. And then maybe you don't even cook it that day. Do you know what happens when you pick it and it's unripened? And I'm getting very passionate about this, but this is something that we're pretty adamant about, and people just don't understand. So if you pick something, the things that I picked today, once you pick them, they immediately start to die. So something that's 10, 15 days old, it's starting to die. It's losing its nutritional value. It doesn't have the same value as something that's picked. And like tonight, I might make a pizza later for my husband and myself. We're gonna, he doesn't know it, but pizza's the kind of thing that if I want pizza, I'm gonna make it myself. That's another example of that. And I can actually make a pizza, make the dough, roll it out, bake it, almost less time than it takes me to to order one and pick it up from, my local pizza place, which I love my local pizza place. And we do support my local pizza place sometimes, our local pizza place. But regardless, tune it in, Kimberly, come on. those tomatoes that I picked now, if I'm going to make them, tonight for dinner, for a pizza or whatever, the nutritional value is just much more prominent. It's just going to be much healthier. It's going to have more vitamins. It won't be as dead, as I said. Once you pick them, they start immediately dying and deteriorating and losing their nutritional value. So that's a huge benefit of the garden. I'm not even sure the point I started to make, but for us, that's why we do what we do. And again, I'm all over the place. I apologize, but I'm just speaking from the heart. So that's why we do what we do. That's why we grow, the things we do. And even if I don't get enough to put up for the winter or all of that, I still have enough for at least, all the way through the season to be able to, to have that, for my family. And then, there are people, I don't know if I mention her a lot, Jess, Roots and Refuge, who's been a huge inspiration to me. Hey, sweetheart. The tomatoes in the off season taste like disappointment. And that is true. So there are things that I've decided I'm never going to eat in the off season. For me, peaches. I'm just not going to do it. I have a local, and now we do have a couple peach trees that we've started. I'm going to come over here and say we do have a couple peach trees that we started, but they're not quite, I see you over there, they're not quite they're little, they're still little. But what I do and to supplement that, so that I'm still not giving into these big farm, there's a couple of I might have to pause this, get my girls in. 1 second. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, I had to put my girls away. There were 2 big birds flying overhead. I don't think they would have been a problem, but they may not have been able to pick up my girls, but they definitely could have done them some harm in the attempt. So I had to put everybody away. Sorry, I'll probably let them out later. But anyway, like I was saying, so peaches, I do go to my local orchard and I buy peaches from them because they are local, but I'm just not going to buy peaches from the store. So there are things I'm just not going to buy for, off season. And this journey of growing our own food and all of that has really, it's kind of taught me that. It's reinforced that in me. And plus, it's just not good. Like, there's some of the stuff that you buy in the off season, it's just not good. And again, it's because it was picked, 1,000 miles away or so, unripe, put in a truck, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but anyway, so that's kind of where we are with that. So that is kind of why we do what we do. And I did do another video earlier in the season of, talking about my why. It is healthier. We've tried to really revamp our diet, and not even our diet, just our lifestyle, just a simpler lifestyle. It's, I don't know. We've seen the effects of it, a little bit at a time, baby steps, but again, sorry, I got really long-winded there. It is something that we're very, I don't want to say passionate, but I just feel very strongly about, and it's unfortunate because I feel like a lot of people just don't know, the effects that all this frankenfood, I call it frankenfood. I think I heard that somewhere, so I certainly didn't coin that phrase, but I call it frankenfood because the stuff that you see in the stores it's not really food. Like when I look at like a package of whatever, gosh, there's another book. Oh, is it Michael Pollan? It's called Food Rules, and it has stuff in there and it's just little basic simple things. And I read that probably around the time I read Animal Vegetable Miracle for the first time. I think it's Michael Pollan is the author. But it's like, don't eat foods that have more than 5 ingredients. If your grandmother wouldn't recognize it as food, don't eat it. Don't eat foods that a 3rd grader can't pronounce. The ingredients of. And it was very basic stuff, but it was really eye-opening for me. Only shop the perimeter of the grocery store. Treat treats like treats. Now that's a funny one. My husband and I have coined that. When I first read that, it's a saying that we say often because, like I said, I do love sugar. I just love my sweets and my baked goods and all that kind of stuff, candies and ice cream. I really had to work hard to kick a soda habit that I had. Oh gosh, like 11 or so years ago. I had always been a big Coke addict, Coca-Cola though, Anyway, I ended up in the hospital for like a week, really bad kidney stone situation, and I ended up, my doctor was like, you need to drink more water, and I was like, Okay, if you've had kidney stones, then you know what I'm talking about. So I drink lemon water that's almost all that I drink. Very rarely will I drink a soda, but it took me years to kick that habit. Years. And now soda's not really an issue. If we go out sometimes, I might have a soda, a Coke or a root beer. But that might be once every month or couple months or whatever. I used to have it every day. So again, it took me a long time to break that habit. Sugar and sweets, that's a little bit harder to break, but it's been important to me, and it's been helpful for me, I think. But gosh, I don't know. It's tough, right? It's hard because food's yummy and tasty, and I would love to eat chips and dip, and well, I'm not a big chip fan, but every once in a while, but I just don't eat. We try not to eat that stuff. We really do. Let's talk about what we do eat. Okay, so for our meals, like the other day, for my husband's lunch today, I had, just regular ground beef that I, made into burgers. I cut our fresh parsley, our fresh basil, our fresh oregano. I mixed it up in there, 1 egg, and I made like 3 burger patties. He doesn't really eat bread. He gave up bread, I don't know, gosh, maybe a year or so ago. He's really done a great job with his health. Me, not as much. But so I made that, and then I sliced a tomato, thick. It's a big tomato, and I cut it into like 3 slices. And then I sliced up some jalapenos and some other things, and I sauteed them and cooked them. And that's what he took for lunch today. So he took a burger patty, and then he took, like I said, tomato and jalapeno, and that's his lunch. I think he also took a piece of fruit or 2, and that'll be his dessert. That's just how he eats, or how we eat. He, more than me, he is much more stricter about it than I am. I just don't have that self-control, I guess. I know I'm learning, but again, I'm light years ahead of where I was before. We'll stuff peppers and do stuffed peppers, or we'll do like veggie sheet pan veggies, and we'll cut up a bunch of veggies, toss them in olive oil, like whatever we have, eggplant, zucchini, carrots, radishes, whatever it is, tomatoes, peppers, onions, cube up some potatoes, toss it in olive oil with some of our fresh herbs out of our beautiful herb bed, and then we roast it. We just put it in the oven for like 30 minutes at 375, whatever I feel like it, to be quite honest. There are no rules, we just cook it, and that's our veggies, and we love that. Last week we have let me show you this guy, because this is really exciting. So I mentioned my birthday was last week. This is our little fire pit. This is something that I've wanted. When we moved here, I wanted an outdoor cooking area. So he got me this guy and with the chain, and then also a 10-quart Dutch oven or whatever. 1 second. It's a 10-quart Dutch oven. And so last week, one day last week, we made a fire. Again, not to be too pioneery, but or too hippie-ish, but we did a fire last Saturday. He was off, which he's not usually off on Saturdays. He was off. We did a big fire here in my pit, and I'll put a picture in there of it. And then we made chili. It was amazing. We had the best chili, and then we also treated ourselves. We had cornbread, but the cornbread again was like a treat. But that's just the way we eat. We really don't do packaged foods. If I'm going to do macaroni and cheese, which is also a treat, I boil the noodles, I shred the cheese, put the whole milk in. We do use whole milk. I put the whole milk in, and then I make my macaroni and cheese, and I make just a little bit. I have it, maybe a little bit for lunch the next day, because my husband's probably not going to eat it because he doesn't do a lot of carbs. And that's my food. I don't buy Kraft macaroni and cheese. And again, to each their own, but this is just a way that we've decided that how we want to spend our time, how we want to spend our resources, the things that we want for ourselves, and the lifestyle that we want too. We like cooking. When he gets home from work today, we're going to throw a bunch of vinyl on, we're going to burn some incense, probably pour a glass of whiskey, I'm not going to lie, and we're going to cook and just, I don't know, hang out. It's just what we like to do. So we like cooking. But, we just try to not eat anything packaged. If you have any questions about that, or about, anything about, well, what do you do about this? What do you do about that? you know, I mean, we do packaged food. Let me wind it down. Gosh, I'm fired up today. We do packaged food like yogurt. So for breakfast in the mornings, I'll do like yogurt. I'll do whole fat, plain Greek yogurt, lots of protein, probiotics, and then I'll throw some berries in there. Along with some nuts, because nuts have really good oils in them. So that'll be my breakfast. Or what I might do is I might do a couple of eggs. I'll cut up some tomato. You know, I'll come out that morning and I leave for work very early. It's dark. I get up at like 4:20, 4:30 in the morning. So I leave not too long after that. I come out, I'll pick one tomato, or I might pick it the night before. I'll grab some fresh basil, some feta, put it in a little container, scramble my eggs in the morning, 2 eggs. It only takes a couple minutes. I'm not stopping at the farm store, or, you know, wherever, you know, people are stopping. And again, not that I don't ever do that, because I do. I mean, I went to my local place this morning in town and I had a donut, but it was a local place that had local donuts. It's called Chesapeake Bay Coffee. If you're in the town of Northeast, I definitely recommend it. Amazing. They grind their own stuff. Like, it's just an amazing little local coffee spot that has their donuts are the best donuts ever. I had a maple bacon donut, and then I walked across the street, donated some books to a little book library, and there's a little farmer's market there, which I don't think was a farmer's market. I'm not going to get into that. I think it was somebody who bought stuff and was selling it, but they tricked me once. I don't think they're not going to trick me again. But regardless, gosh, I've completely lost my train of thought. Whew, I'm on a tangent. Anyway, I'm not stopping to buy breakfast sandwiches and all those types of things. I make my breakfast at home 97% of the time. You know, sometimes I'll go to Panera and get a bagel because it's Panera and I love their bagels. But, you know, so those are the types of things that we do eat. So like I said, we do eat processed food, or we do eat packaged foods, just not a whole lot of it. We really cut down on that. And, you know, the less of that type of food that we eat, the more types of food that we're growing. I mean, and I don't think I'm growing a lot. I don't have a lot of stuff in. I mean, I do. I'm pretty good at utilizing my space, but anyway, I don't think this is going to be a garden tour. I really don't. I think this has just been like it's just some things I wanted to say, just some things about me and my lifestyle and what we're doing. It is why we got the girls, so we could have fresh eggs, good protein. And again, let's go back to COVID. You know, I didn't like what I saw when COVID happened, and I think our food system is very broken and very delicate, and not able to. I just think it's a mirage. I don't think it's really a food system. I just don't think it's a mirage. It's some people who are producing some frankenfoods and supplying them to the masses for profitable gain. No health value, no benefit to us or whatever. So in the event that something happens, it's a product. It's not really meant for like the long-term sustainability. So that's why we're trying to provide some more options for us, long-term sustainability. Again, that's why we got our chickens. It's why we grow our food. It's why we put food up. We're not hardcore preppers or anything like that, but we do. We want to be in a position to take care of ourselves if something happens like that again. And I know people are probably like, well, it probably won't happen again. You know what? I think it's more inclined to happen again. I think, and what we saw, I think is an indication of how easily we can be put in that position. But I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. If you stuck with me this long, I appreciate it, because again, this is just me, Kimberly from Songbird Homestead, speaking from the heart, telling you a little bit about what I have going on and what we stand for and what why we're doing the things that we're doing. I'm probably going to turn this off. I need to go chill out a little bit. I think I'm going to go pick some flowers. My zinnias, aren't they lovely? I love my zinnias. So yeah, plus I have my clothes are done on the line. I'm gonna take my laundry down, hang up another load. I have another load to go in. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, and just kind of take a breath. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by Songbird Homestead. I apologize for all the download and the word vomit. But again, just a little bit of information from my heart. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you again soon.